Hello, this is yours truly, Charles Prosper, your consistency success coach. And what if I told you that I discovered a way for you always to get the right answer? Let me kind of give you the story of how I came across this in a very, very powerful way. I was going through some motivational YouTube videos and I came across a gentleman by the name of David Bayer, who I think is kind of like the new Tony Robbins in his approach to motivation and self-realization and success and all of those things. Well, anyway, I was looking for a particular video on about why one should keep going, why one should never give up. And one of the reasons why I was looking for such a video is that here in my YouTube channel, which I think is excellent in terms of the quality of the videos that I put out, recently I didn't see my growth going as much as I would like, so to speak. And so for a brief second, I mean it was really, really brief, the idea, should I continue with this? Or should I just give up? Now, this is a confession now. I mean, I just entertained this thought for a very brief moment. And then I went to look at this particular video by David Bayer on making the right decision. And the particular video that he produced that I was listening to didn't really do it for me. I mean, he was talking about it doesn't matter what decision that you make as long as you are in alignment, your feeling is in alignment with the decision. Well, and he kept repeating, as long as your feeling is in alignment with the decision. Now, he thought that was really deep and made a lot of sense, but I really couldn't relate to it. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It didn't really touch me in a way to make me understand what it was that I needed to really do. But in the thumbnail, he had a subtext which said, "What would God want me to do?" And that hit me like a bolt of lightning. I got the aha experience. That is what I needed to see and to understand. And so immediately I began to apply this question to every decision that I have ever had a doubt as to what I should be doing. Let me say this, that the correct answer is always predicated on the correct question, and the correct question is much more important than the correct answer, because without the correct question, you cannot get the correct answer. So the correct question is, what would God want me to do? So immediately, in the case of my YouTube channel, I asked myself the question, what would God want me to do? And immediately, I got the feeling answer: persist, continue, because this is your life purpose. Whatever you are going through is necessary to train you to be the person that you need to be on the next level of your progress. This is what the feeling answer that I got. You know, there was a time when I was reading this book, I'm sure you've heard of it, Conversations with God. And it is the story of how this author found a way to do automatic writing whenever he had a problem or a challenge. The only thing he needed to do was grab a pencil, then suddenly he'd ask a question in writing, and then his hand would automatically give the answer in writing. And I said, that's so cool. I said, why doesn't everyone have this particular ability. Why does this dude have to be able to have this talent to get direct answers from God? Why not me too? Well, God hasn't forgotten you in terms of a way to get a direct answer to any particular problem that you might have, because I have found that framing the question to yourself, what would God want me to do? I have found that immediately I get the feeling, thought, answer, the correct answer to whatever it is that I need to make a decision on. And it's amazing when you ask this question, the ease at which the answer comes. It becomes so obvious that you ask yourself, why had I never thought of this before? I remember as I was thinking more and more about how powerful this question is, I started asking myself, now, what if I had asked this question in many of the past circumstances where I had a dilemma of something to make the correct decision on? I remember when I was going through a divorce and my ex was suing me for a whole mess of money, and I was trying to make the correct decision as to how to handle this. And I'm thinking now that had I asked the question, well, just in retrospect, I did make it out of that situation, so I'm okay now. But I remember that I didn't know what decision to make in terms of how to handle it. And I'm thinking now, had I asked the question at that time, what would God want me to do? I feel that I would have gotten an answer, something to the effect of, be patient, make allowances, allow this to pass, because it is not a matter of asking why this is happening to me, but what this is trying to teach me. I feel that I would have gotten an answer to that effect. And the thing that I want to say is that this is so powerful that if you do this, you get an immediate feeling response. It is not something that you have to spend a long time meditating on and doing like one column of pros and one column of cons, and then comparing which of the two columns outweigh the other. This is something that happens immediately. So I am saying that when you are faced with a decision of making a right choice, the solution would be to ask yourself, what would God want me to do right now? What would God want me to do? If you are deciding on, say, returning to a relationship that you know in your heart is probably going to be toxic, ask yourself the question, what would God want me to do? And you will immediately get the thought, feeling response as to what you should do. Now, let me say this, is that when you get the feeling response and you know that this is what you should do because of the question that you asked, if you choose not to follow the answer that comes to you, God is not going to punish you. You see, I don't believe that God punishes us when we don't follow our inner voice and His guidance. I think God tries to slow us down, but God never stops us from doing something, even if it's not in our best interest. You see, God allows us to experience the consequences of our choices if we are insistent on going against what we know we should be doing. So that God is not going to get mad if you decide not to follow that inner voice, that answer that you get, that you just know is the right answer. You will be allowed to break through the barriers that are trying to slow you down, and then experience the consequence of your actions so that you will be a little bit wiser the next time, because we learn through either wisdom or woe. So, what I am saying to you is this: whenever you are faced with any type of dilemma where you have to make a decision as to which way to go, relax and just ask yourself, what would God want me to do? It could be, should I take this apartment or that apartment? Ask the question, what would God want me to do? The answer might be, go to that apartment where you feel the most peaceful and stay there until you find something better. It could be any number of answers, but let me say this, is that the answer, for you to know that it's the right answer, will always come in a form of peace, joy, and relief, with a kind of, yeah, that is definitely what I should be doing. It's the aha experience. So, in summary, whenever you are faced with any decision that you have to make, simply ask the right question to get the right answer. What would God want me to do right now in this situation? And you will be amazed at the answers that you get. So, again, this is yours truly, Charles Prosper, your consistency success coach. And as always, I wish for you to stay consistent, be successful, and know how to ask the right questions to get the right answers. Wait a minute, don't go yet. Just as I finished this video, I got an insight of something that I needed to add before I left you. Once you get the answer to the question, what would God want me to do in this situation? It comes to you, write it down and keep a record in a journal of all of the questions and the God answers that you get to the question. Keep a journal of this. This will be very important for you as you review over the course of time the various answers that you have received. So that's my addendum before I really go. Keep a record, keep a diary, and a special notebook of all of the answers that you get to the question, what would God want me to do in this situation? Okay, I'll let you go now. And before we go, I would like to invite you to my community of consistent-minded people at the Prosper Consistency Success membership site, where you become a part of a family of consistent-minded people where we help each other to remain consistent until we achieve our goals. One of the benefits of being a member is that you will have an accountability partner who will help you to stay focused until you achieve your goal, as you will be assigned to another member as their accountability partner to help them stay focused until they achieve their goals. Additionally, there will be live coaching calls where you can call in and get immediate answers to any of your problems, questions, or queries concerning the challenges that you could be facing on the path to achieving your goal. And occasionally we will have guest speakers who come in to give us fresh new ideas on the subject of consistency, success, and goal achievement. So, without further ado, I would invite you to go right now to www.consistencysuccesscoach.com, and you will be glad that you did. And as always, if you enjoy any of my videos, this video, or any of the others that I put out consistently on a daily basis, if you choose, I invite that you give it a like and a subscribe, because it helps me to expand and increase my reach. So, as in passing, before we go, as I always like to tell you, stay consistent and be successful.